Let's meet the teams, beginning with our guests from Evans, sophomore Sandra Bocchio, senior Stephanie Brown, sophomore Cataline Catastine, senior Antasia Kaysen, sophomore Amy Chenette, senior Bianca Cherenfant, junior Ashlyn Dubois, junior Jamisha Ferrari, junior Mariah Harris, junior Nadia James, junior Louise Jean, junior Deja Jones, senior Brittany Joseph, senior Chayla Lindor, sophomore Miranda Lewis Jean, senior Tanya McLeod, junior Kalia Moore, junior Yasmin Octalis, sophomore Janaya Parker Johnson, junior Ariana Peterson, junior Malaysia Powell, senior Janasia Sweeney, sophomore Ashley Voltaire, and senior Kimani Young. And now, your Wekiva High School Mustangs. Senior wide receiver, number 1, Shanaria Smith. Junior quarterback, number 2, Sky Carter. Freshman safety, number 3, Cece Freisen. Junior running back, number 4, Portia Scott. Senior cornerback, number 7, Shania Sylvain. Junior running back, number 8, Wilkiah Reyes. Senior wide receiver, number 10, Cameron Lynch. Junior center, number 12, Jada Rodriguez. Junior athlete, number 13, Shania McCarthy. Freshman linebacker, number 21, Saria Hercule. Senior cornerback, number 23, Stephanie White. Junior quarterback, number 24, Maddie Tuzay. And freshman linebacker, number 26, Zeta Molson. And the Mustangs are coached by Tommy Butts. And good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Mustang Field. There we go. You should be able to hear me better now. I had a switch in the wrong place. Welcome to Mustang Field. My name is Mark Barchi, the voice of the Mustangs, and I'll be taking you through this afternoon's contest between the Wekiva Mustangs and the Evans Trojans. Wilkiah Reyes on the carry for the Mustangs. Second down. Snap to Reyes again. Not getting very far. Reyes on the carry. No gain on the play. That brings up 3rd and 1 from the Mustangs' own 19-yard line. Reyes working on her flags there. So we'll pause briefly for that. Snap away. Reyes takes the direct snap and tries to hit. That's number 24. That's Maddie Tuzay, the intended receiver. The pass falls incomplete, and it brings up 4th and 1 for the Mustangs. The Mustangs have a schedule this year that is heavily away. They actually have just this and one more home game. They've only played 2 games so far. A little bit of a late start to the season. They're going to punt the ball away here. And the Trojans just let it go. A little bit of a miscommunication there. We'll see if the Mustangs are able to take advantage of that. The punt is returned by the Trojans to about the 35-yard line. We'll make it the 37, and that brings up 1st and 3. Snap away. And the blitz by the Mustangs is effective there. Portia Scott stops the Trojan offense. No gain on the play. 2nd and 3 coming up from the Trojans' own 37-yard line. So keep in mind as you watch the footage here that you are looking at the yellow lines painted on the field, not the white lines. Those white lines are for girls lacrosse. A pickup of 3 yards on the play puts the ball at the 40-yard line, and that is just enough for a Trojan first down. 1st and 20 coming up from midfield. Also, if you are new to the sport of flag football, it is an 80-yard field as opposed to the 100-yard field that you may be accustomed to in gridiron football. Teams have 4 downs to gain the next quadrant of the field, however far that may be. It is not necessarily 10 yards. Stop made by Cam Lynch after a gain of 2. That brings up 2nd and 18 from the Mustangs' 38-yard line. And it is picked off. Mustangs pick up a turnover. Cam Lynch has the recovery for the Mustangs. Wekiva takes over at their own 37-yard line. That'll bring up 1st and 3. So again, 1st and 3 here because the yardage to gain is always however many yards it takes you to get to the next quadrant of the field. And then they have 20-yard quadrants, 4 20-yard quadrants. So in this case, since they are 3 yards away from the 3rd quadrant of the field, that means it is 1st and 3. If Wekiva had taken over at the 21-yard line, it would have been 1st and 19. Screen over to Tuesday. Madeline Tuesday has the reception at the 42-yard line for a gain of 5 yards on the completion, and that's enough for a Mustang first down. Snap is away. Quick handoff to Lynch. And a nice spin move there by number 12 of Evans to make the stop. Lynch picks up a gain of about 3 yards. That puts the ball at the 36-yard line. Brings up 2nd and 16. Snap to Reyes. Wekiva Reyes on the QB keeper. She's run out of bounds at the 32-yard line. That's a gain of 4 yards on the play, and it brings up 3rd and 12. So it's been a heavily defensive contest on both sides of the ball so far. Again, for those of you just joining us, we want to welcome you to Baptiste Orthodontic Stadium. My name is Mark Barchi, the voice of the Mustangs and Sports Information Director here at Wekiva High School. And if you're watching us on YouTube, we invite you to subscribe while you are tuned in. Click that little red button if you haven't already. Going for broke. Oh, it is in and out of the hands of the intended receiver. That was Cam Lynch, the intended receiver. The pass falls incomplete, and that will bring up 4th and 12. Beautifully thrown pass, everything there but the catch. Hit her right in the numbers. And so the Mustangs look like they will bring out a kicking unit once again. Another rule difference in flag football compared to gridiron tackle football is that you must declare your intent to punt. You cannot fake a punt. You cannot do anything else with it. Once you indicate to the official that you will be punting, that is what you must do. So that's fielded near the goal line, and a missed stop there by the Mustangs. Second one rings true, though. Number 13 on the return. Stop is made by Reyes. Ball is spotted at the 16, maybe 15-yard line, and that brings up 1st and 5. Snap to number 24, going for a deep pass on the first play, and it's broken up. Pass deflected by Molson and incomplete. It brings up 2nd and 5. Going for a much shorter pass this time. That one is successful. Pass complete to number 18. And the stop made for the Mustangs by Shadaria Smith. A gain of 6 on the play. And it brings up 1st and 19 for the Trojans. No gain on the play. It brings up 3rd and long for the Trojans. Coming down into the closing seconds here of the first quarter. Again, it's a running clock until we get to the last 2 minutes of each half, and then it goes to stop time, which works pretty much exactly the same way that it does in tackle football. A little flick there, but I don't think her colleague was ready for that. It's thrown behind the intended receiver. That takes us to the end of the first quarter, and we remain scoreless in a heavily defensive contest here on Tuesday night flag football. 0-0 your score at the end of one. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Don't be alarmed. You're going to hear the audio mute completely. That's just so that we don't run afoul of YouTube's copyright guidelines, but we will be right back. Welcome back to Baptiste Orthodontic Stadium. Of course, the breaks between quarters are pretty quick in flag football. Pass falls incomplete, and that brings up 2nd and 19 for the Mustangs. Snap to Reyes. Looking for an option downfield. Doesn't have one. She zigs. She zags. And she's going to get some decent yardage all by herself. Reyes on the QB keeper, taken down by number 10 after a gain of about 6 yards. And we will pause for a timeout. The Wekiva Mustangs take their first timeout of the first half. We'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank our friends at Baptiste Orthodontics for their continued sponsorship of this beautiful facility that we're playing in right now, Baptiste Orthodontic Stadium. We also want to congratulate them on the opening of their dental practice at their brand new office deep in the heart of downtown Apopka, just across the street from Kitland Nelson Park, where you can now get all of your orthodontic and dental services for your child taken care of all in one place, serving children from age 1 all the way up through their late teens. Baptiste Orthodontics and Dentistry, 3 locations to serve you, including one in downtown Apopka. Welcome back to live action here at Baptiste Orthodontic Stadium. Once again, Mark Barchi, the voice of the Mustangs, here with you for this afternoon's game. Portia Scott on the carry for the Mustangs. And she probably got a couple of yards after she made contact with the player before her flags dropped to the ground. The ball is spotted at the 28-yard line for a gain of 11. That brings up fourth, and 8 for the Mustangs. And of course, sometimes you have to eyeball the distances because unlike tackle gridiron football, they do not paint hash marks every yard or even every 5 yards. They only paint lines every 20 yards, and you're looking for the gold lines, except for the one that you see right there where the fourth down marker is. That's one where the lacrosse and flag football lines are overlapping, and the Mustang catch is made for a first down. Catch made by Cameron Lynch. The ball is spotted at the 15-yard line. Perhaps 14, and that brings up first and goal. Carter on the carry. And a pickup of about 4 yards. Brings up 2nd and 10. 2nd and goal from the 10. Smith flicks it over to Carter. But tackled behind the line of scrimmage for a loss of 5 yards. That pulls the ball back to the 15-yard line. And that brings up 3rd and goal from the 15. It's into the end zone and caught for a Mustang touchdown. Cam Lynch on the reception, and Wekiva is on the board. "15-yard completion." Flag on the play. Delay of game called against the Mustangs. 5-yard penalty and a retry. That is well over the head of both the offense and the defense. Pass falls incomplete and the try fails. That leaves the Mustangs with a 6-0 lead with 4.5 minutes remaining in the half. The snap is fumbled. That's an immediate dead ball. And a loss of 7 on the play. And we'll pause for a Trojan timeout. Evans takes their first timeout of the half. We'll be right back. Number 12 on the carry. Stop is made for the Mustangs by Reyes, and that is just short of first down yardage. It brings the ball to the 18-yard line and brings up 3rd and 2. And I will be completely honest with you, I do not know what just happened. I didn't see a penalty marker go down, but I heard a rolling whistle sound, and Evans got 5 yards. And I will have to look that up later. Pass is broken up by Shadarius Smith, and it falls incomplete. It brings up 2nd and 17 from the Trojans' own 23-yard line. Pass falls incomplete. Smith on the coverage. And we've reached the 2-minute warning. Less than 2 minutes remaining in the first half. Stop time will be in effect for the remainder of the period. Looking for an option. Did you get her before the pass was off? No. Pass is complete and just short of first down yardage to number 13, who manages to stay in bounds. It brings up 4th and 3 from the 37. A gain of 14 yards on the play. Narrowly brought down by the quarterback. A gain of 4 yards on the run. That puts the ball just barely into Mustang territory. Make it a gain of 3. The ball spotted at the 39-yard line. So the clock stops briefly to reset for the first down. I would say move the chains, except we don't in the most technical sense have chains. Just the one down marker. Move the stick, I guess, if you will. Going downfield. Pass intended for number 2 falls incomplete. Coverage provided for the Mustangs by number 21, Zaria Hercule. It brings up 2nd and 19 for the Trojans, with under a minute remaining in the first half. Pass complete and immediately stopped. The pass is complete to number 2. Stop made by Lynch. That's a gain of about 8 on the completion. We'll pause for a timeout. The Mustangs take their second timeout of the first half. Interesting move there by Coach Butts. We'll be right back. Lynch had a hand on it, but it is complete. Pass completes to number 2. That gains the first down and a little bit more. Ball spotted at the 18-yard line for a gain of 21 yards on the completion, and it brings up 1st and goal for the Trojans. Going for the end zone, it's short, nearly picked off. The pass falls incomplete, intended for number 12. Shadaria Smith was on the coverage for the Mustangs. That brings up 2nd and goal from the 18-yard line, with 15.8 seconds remaining in the half. Of course, many of these young women on the Wekiva side were part of that state runner-up squad as they go for the end zone again. It's in the air, and it's caught and picked off by the Mustangs. Shadaria Smith has the pick for Wekiva, the second turnover of the game for the Mustangs. Wekiva takes over with under 6 seconds remaining in the half, and the ball spotted at the 36-yard line. And official time is kept on the field, and they were a few seconds ahead of me on the scoreboard, and so that will actually take us to halftime. The Mustangs will go into the break with a 6-0 lead over the Trojans. Thanks for tuning in. You're watching Flag Football live from Baptist Orthodontic Stadium here at Wekiva High School in South Apopka, Florida. We are going to turn off the audio so that the music that plays here at the field does not run us afoul of any copyright guidelines, but don't worry, we're not going anywhere. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Welcome back to Mustang Field. Mark Parchi, the voice of the Mustangs, here with you for the second half. Evans has the opening possession of the second half, and they pick up the first down on their opening play. First and 18 coming up for the Trojans from their own 22-yard line. Number 10 on the carry, Cam Lynch on the stop. That puts the ball at roughly the 28-yard line for a gain of about 6 on the carry. It brings up 2nd and 12 for the Trojans. Pass intended for number 14 is broken up by Wekiva Reyes and falls incomplete. That brings up 3rd and 12 for the Trojans from their own 28-yard line. Again, as we mentioned earlier, this is a little bit of a shortened season for Wekiva, not nearly as shortened as last season was, certainly, where we lost the entire season at spring break and then never got to pick it up again. This time, of course, Wekiva has the good problem for the 3rd consecutive year that Coach Butts, as well as many of the players, were unavailable because they were busy in Lakeland going to state championship basketball games, as we have number 10 on the carry has run out of bounds just past the 40-yard line at the Mustang 39 into Wekiva territory. That brings up 1st and 19. And so as a result of all that, this is only the 3rd game of the year for Wekiva. They beat Ocoee on March 9th, 26-6. They fell short against DeLand, the Bulldogs, on the road on Thursday, March 11th. That was a close one, though. 13-6 was the final score. Then nothing happening over spring break other than practices. So now this is just the 3rd game of the year for Wekiva. They also are fairly short on home games. This is the 2nd of only 3 home games. Number 13 on the carry. That puts the ball at the 36-yard line for a gain of 3 on the play. It brings up 2nd and 16 for the Trojans. We were not able to broadcast, we did broadcast on the NFHS network only that first home game. We were not able to do the full broadcast with the human-operated camera and announcing and the whole 9 yards. Picked off! Cam Lynch with the pick. And the Mustangs will take over. 3rd turnover of the game, forced by Wekiva. And the ball is spotted at the 35-yard line of Mustang territory, and that will bring up 1st and 5. So both teams turning in a much better defensive performance than offensive, but the Mustangs perhaps more so, with 3 turnovers forced against the Trojans. The one and only remaining home game for Wekiva is coming up 1 week from today against New Smyrna Beach. That's a 6 o'clock start on March 30th. That will also be just a RoboCam only on NFHS Network, because that conflicts. We actually have a softball game and a baseball game at home on the same day at the same time as that home flag football game. So we'll be broadcasting 3 games at once, 2 on one stream and 1 on the other. The pass intended for Jada Rodriguez falls incomplete. That brings up 2nd and 5 for the Mustangs from their own 35-yard line. Low bullet pass. Pass intended for number 4, Portia Scott, is broken up by number 14 of the Trojans. That'll bring up 3rd and 5 for the Mustangs from their own 35-yard line. Snap away. Mustangs need to make something happen here. Hit Cam Lynch in the numbers, but immediately stopped by number 24 before she can get across midfield. Cam Lynch makes the catch for the Mustangs, and it's a pickup of 4 yards, and the Mustangs are stopped just short of first down yardage. Ball spotted at the 39-yard line, and it brings up 4th and 1. And so we'll see what the Mustangs decide to do here. The snap is low and touches the ground. That's an instant dead ball in flag football, and since it was 4th down, it is also a turnover. That turns the ball over on downs, and it also moves the spot back to about the 33-yard line, perhaps the 32, and that is where Evans will take over. Nice work on defense. Portia Scott makes the stop. And that moves the ball back to midfield. The ball spotted at the 40-yard line for a loss of 8 on the sack. 2nd and 20 coming up for the Trojans. Snap away, another blitz coming. This time the Mustangs can't get there. The pass is complete to number 13, but she had to spin around to get it and goes to the ground right after the catch. A gain of 2 on the play. That puts the ball back into Mustang territory at the 38-yard line and brings up 3rd and 18. So the Mustangs, if they can get one more good stop in here, they may be spared from the damage done by that muffed snap on 4th down. Ticking under 3 minutes to go here in the 3rd quarter. Again, you're watching flag football, varsity girls action here from Baptiste Orthodontic Stadium, live on YouTube as well as the NFHS Network. My name is Mark Barchi, the voice of the Mustangs and sports information director here at Wekiva High School, as we have a catch made by number 10, immediately stopped by Portia Scott. And a gain of about 12 yards on the completion. That puts the ball at the 27-yard line. Brings up 4th and 7 for the Trojans. That's probably generous, maybe more like 4th and 8. And And so the Trojans have to make the decision here, and they do decide to go for it. It's up in the air, and it's picked off. Number 10. That's Cameron Lynch with yet another pick for the Mustangs. The fourth turnover caused by Wekiva this afternoon, and that spots the ball at about the 29-yard line. And it brings up 1st and 11 for Wekiva. Under a minute remaining in the third quarter. Again, running clock in flag football except for the last 2 minutes of each half, at which point we switch to using standard gridiron football timing rules. Unless, of course, the mercy rule is in play, which it doesn't look like is going to happen in this game. The pass is caught by Cam Lynch, and she gets all the way into Trojan territory, past the 30-yard line to about the 28. That'll bring up 1st and 8. I'm being told that number 10 is Shania Sylvain, which is different than the roster that was given to me, but I believe them. That takes us to the end of the third quarter. The Mustangs will have 1st and 8 when we come back from the break and switch sides. Wekiva holds a 6-0 lead going into the final 12 minutes of this afternoon's contest. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Baptiste Orthodontic Stadium, and it's a good opening play of the fourth quarter as Wakaya Reyes on the QB keeper gets inside the red zone. The ball is spotted at the 11-yard line, and that brings up 1st and goal. Smith looking for an opportunity, zigzags, still has her flags, and she's got some good yardage, headed toward the goal line. Shadaria Smith on the carry for the Mustangs. Ball is spotted at the 4-yard line, and that brings up 2nd and goal from there. Again, you kind of have to eyeball it with flag football since they don't paint the hashes but every 20 yards. Snap, quick handoff to Smith. No one blitzing. She's got all day long, and in spite of that, doesn't have anywhere to go with it. That's number 2 on the stop, and Smith is taken down for a loss of 3 yards. That puts the ball back to the 7-yard line and brings up 3rd and goal. So the Trojans trying to make a goal line stand here. And both teams having a pretty darn good day on defense. Offense leaves a little something to be desired. Snap to Carter, going for the end zone, all or nothing, and Carter intending for Sylvain. The pass falls incomplete, and that brings up 4th and 7 for the Mustangs. Of course, since there are no field goals in flag football, at this point you're effectively in 4-down territory. There's no sense in punting from that location. You're already past the point where you'd pick up a kickoff. So at this point, the Mustangs really only have one option, and that is to go for it on 4th down, which is, of course, what they will do here. To the end zone, has her in the numbers. And the catch is made by Cam Lynch for a Mustang touchdown. Penalty is declined. The touchdown stands. Mustangs will see if they have any better luck with the try this time, if they can avoid the delay of game penalty. The pass is complete, and Cameron Lynch has both the score and the extra point. That makes it a 13-0 ball game with just about 7 minutes remaining. So now the Trojans take over from the 14, as always. Number 2 on the carry. And she picks up a gain of 6 yards, gets it right to the 20-yard line. It's just enough for a Trojan first down. So 1st and 20 coming up for Evans, and while we are paused here between possessions, I want to, as always, extend my appreciation to the Wekiva Broadcast Production Program. That's Keith Dickerson and his students who have really allowed us to take it up a notch this year. As you may know, we have been broadcasting in earnest now for about 3 years as we get an incomplete pass, bringing up 2nd and 20. Before we knew anything about a pandemic, before we ever imagined that that was going to be a thing that was going to happen, we started working on broadcast production, we started working on live streaming, and we've been doing it and getting a little bit better at it each year for the past 3 years. And this year, in more than ever, partly because the pandemic has been keeping some of our fans away, and partly just as the natural evolution of the program, we have been really pushing the live streaming and getting better and better at it, and having the partnership between Wekiva Sports Information and Wekiva Broadcast Production has allowed us to upgrade the equipment that we're using, get more students involved, and overall just make it a better experience for everybody, both on the broadcast production side and on the athletics side. So Mr. Dickerson is actually running our camera today. He is our camera operator. We also have a student on the field who's taking archival footage for us. And so I want to welcome him to the broadcast to talk about, well, really whatever he wants to talk about. But certainly we've seen a lot of growth and development in spite of the pandemic kind of limiting how many people we can get involved. You know, we can't pack the press box full of many people, you know, given the state of things, and we want to get more students involved. But I think we've done a lot with what we've been able to do this year.
Yeah, I know some football games, depending on who we're playing, we've got 16 people up here, I think, some nights. So it's been down to like 2 or 3 here and there usually, though. Thanks to you and obviously Mr. Fisher and everybody for letting kids hang out. We'll kind of spot you and learn everything, especially the software you got going behind the scenes. I was out of breath there. Sorry, I thought they were going to run for a touchdown.
Yeah, that was catches made inside Mustang territory. That puts the ball at the 23-yard line, and then a penalty tacked on to the end of that run will actually push the ball into the red zone. The ball looks to be spotted at roughly the 12-yard line, and that's going to bring up 1st and goal for the Trojans. So kind of a deadly play there for Evans against Wekiva, both in terms of the success of the play and the penalty that got tacked on to the end of it. Now, all of a sudden, Evans, which was looking at, you know, potentially having to punt, they go for it on 4th down and they get 1st and goal. And that's just how fast things can turn around in flag football.
They're definitely going to have that time stoppage helping them out.
And oh my, almost picked and going to the ground together. The pass is ruled a catch by the Trojans. Shadaria Smith with the coverage for the Mustangs. And that will move the ball to about the 5-yard line for a gain of 7 on the completion, 2nd and goal. And yeah, I know, Mr. Dickerson, you, I'm sure, are trying to adapt as much as I am, that you get so accustomed to the rules of gridiron football and tackle football, and this kind of looks like that, but isn't quite the same in a lot of ways, as we get Portia Scott on the stop there, and a loss of perhaps 2 on the play.
Well, the time's definitely something. It's like they got somewhere to go or something. The running clock's different. So.
Yeah, it certainly gets us out of here earlier. We're not even going to need to turn the stadium lights on tonight, especially now that we're past the time change.
The kickoffs definitely throw me off because I'm like, oh, I'm too wide here.
And it looks like we got a timeout. Oh, that was just the 2-minute warning. 2-minute warning. Stop time in effect for the remainder of today's contest. Number 13 is into the end zone for a Trojan touchdown. Flag on the play. Personal foul called against the Trojans.
Our witty fans here are claiming that was not a touchdown, maybe.
Well, and that's because of that penalty flag. So you had one official signaling touchdown and the other official throwing the penalty marker. So the question is going to be if the penalty occurred prior to the touchdown, which it looks like it did, then those points are going to come off the board, and that seems to be what's happening. So the touchdown is negated, and it is a 10-yard penalty or 5-yard penalty from the previous spot that puts the ball at right around the 10-yard line, and still 3rd and goal.
Little Fail Mary moment there. That kind of, sorry, I had some PTSD as a Packers fan.
All right, so we're back in action. Mustangs dodge the bullet there, and number 13 there avoids the tackle but goes down on tripping. And high school, actually this would be true even in tackle football in high school. that once you go down, the play is over. You cannot get up again like you can in the NFL. So a pickup of about 2 yards on the play brings up 4th and goal from the 8, and we're going to pause for a Trojan timeout. Timeout called by Evans. For those of you here in the stadium, we want to remind you, if you have not already done so, to please, if you are depending on a ride to get home from today's game, please give them a call and let them know that we are going into the closing 88 seconds or so of today's flag football game, and we appreciate your assistance in allowing us to clear the stadium, get it locked up and sanitized, and have our administrators get home to their families as quickly as possible after the end of the game. Thanks for your help.
Well, this is definitely the night to be a administrator, a supervisor for sporting events.
Yeah, you'll get home with time to spare. And this is an interesting thing, and you find this at a lot of schools, not just at Wekiva, that even schools that have traditionally been, the ball comes out and could have been a fumble. It's not, but it doesn't matter anyway. The Trojans are stopped short of the goal line, and that turns the ball over on downs to the Mustangs. They take over at their own 3-yard line. It brings up 1st and 17. So what I'd started to say a moment ago, oops, I typed that in backwards. It is 17 yards to go. The ball is on the 3. And it is 1st down. There we go. Scoreboard controller is designed for tackle football rules, so sometimes you have to coax it to get the down and distance right. As I started to say a moment ago, though, you're finding a lot of schools who would typically have enough interested students to field both a JV and a varsity program are not necessarily doing so this year. And Wekiva is certainly among those, as the pass intended for Tuesday falls incomplete. It brings up 2nd and 17 for Wekiva. And so actually in all of the spring sports, softball, baseball, track and field, tennis, flag football, boys volleyball, did I miss anybody? Weightlifting for boys, all of them, Wekiva is fielding varsity only this year. There are no JV teams on the docket at all. That's typical for some sports, but not necessarily for others. But you just have those considerations as Matty Tuesday makes the catch, and that puts the ball at the 10-yard line. And the Trojans request a timeout. A gain of 7 on the play. 3rd and 10 coming up for the Mustangs. And Evans takes their second timeout of the second half with just over a minute remaining. Keep in mind, official time is kept on the field, but the scoreboard should be fairly close. Once again, we'd like to thank our partners at Baptiste Orthodontics, and we want to congratulate them on their brand new dentistry operation. So if you have children or teens from infant all the way up through late teens who could use orthodontic or dental care, or perhaps both, you can now go to one convenient location for all of that. And it is a beautiful new facility in the heart of downtown Apopka, just down the street from Kitland Nelson Park. Dr. Baptiste is a proud partner of Orange County Public Schools, and in particular of Baptiste Orthodontic Stadium here at Wekiva.
Was that ad on the stream?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I didn't know. My wife's actually there. She really digs that place. Dr. Baptiste is awesome.
Yeah, I usually see him when I come in for teach-in, for guest speaker presentations. You see him on campus a lot volunteering, and he's always just had a real passion for education. As we get Sky Carter on the carry for the Mustangs, that picks up a 1st down, moving the sticks and putting the ball at about the 26-yard line for a gain of 16 yards on the carry.
We were doing a monthly segment with him until the Rona times, unfortunately, the last year, at Student Athletes of the Month.
Yeah, we haven't been able to do as much with our partnership this year as we would have liked to, but we've had some creative opportunities.
That looks like it's it.
That looks like they're calling it. I don't know if I was really just that far off with the clock on the scoreboard, or there are many mysterious rules. But in any case, that takes us to the end of the ball game. Mustangs with a 13-0 victory here on Tuesday night flag football action. I'll put up the card here so we can get a screenshot for Twitter.
Hey, and you got Coach George and Tony down there tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you so much for coming out tonight or for tuning in on YouTube or the NFHS network to support your Mustang and Trojan athletes. For those of you here in the stadium, please drive carefully and arrive home safely. Those of you who are tuned in on YouTube or the NFHS network, please subscribe before you leave, and don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Twitter as well, at Wekiva Sports. Once again, I want to thank Keith Dickerson and his broadcast production program. Mr. Dickerson, who did we have on the other camera today?
I got Trenavi Gandy. He was watching that Gatorade cooler a lot tonight, but thank you for filming on the sideline, Trey.
Excellent. So sideline cam by him. Mr. Dickerson was on your tower cam tonight. My name is Mark Barchi, the voice of the Mustangs. Thanks for tuning in tonight. We will see you tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, the lacrosse team celebrates senior night. The ceremony will start at 5:30 and the game at 6 o'clock. Those will be live streamed on both YouTube and the NFHS network as well. And we hope that we will see you for those as well on whichever service you choose to watch them on. Thank you again for tuning in, and good night from Baptiste Orthodontic Stadium.